everybody, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the YesterYear Racing League. This evening, we're excited to bring you coverage of all the action from iRacing's virtual Myrtle Beach Speedway and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for the Palmetto 150. From the entertainment here, bringing you action from all types of racing with the weekly Fast Friday series. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside the booth for tonight is Shane Mundy, with Jorge Canales working the controls as our producer. The YesterYear Racing League is a unique one to the iRacing platform. Reason being, it seeks to emulate historical races from the 1990 Whelen Modified Series, 1990 Southern Modified Auto Racing Teams, or S.M.A.R.T Tour. These races are identical to the real-world races that occurred, but we're bringing you these bits of history throughout tonight's broadcast. Tonight, we're emulating the 1990 version of the Wings 200 that was won by Jay Hedgecock after 150 laps of racing. The 200 in the name comes from the 50-lap late race that at the time followed the Modifieds. Tonight, Shane, these top drivers for Modified Racing get ready to race at the now demolished Myrtle Beach Speedway. What do you expect to see tonight under the lights?
I mean, just look at this place. This is such a cool racetrack. Forest used to host the battle at the beach until, like you said, unfortunately, this facility no longer around. Time does take its toll, but these guys put on a great show last week, and it wasn't even that much of a short track out of Milwaukee. Now they're here. Maybe some more physical racing, and definitely think we're in for a treat.
Should be here tonight. So far, Thomas Ogle has continuously been looking stellar. Comes to the season standings, he enters as the series points leader. Now, keep in mind, he had a second-place run at the Tri-State 150. The question is, can he extend his points lead, or will there be a setback, like at Richmond or Stafford? That's been one of the talking points. Lloyd Moore as well, coming off a win last time out, Shane. The question is, can he keep it up?
I mean, racing is a any given Sunday type of sport at times, where you just never know who might end up with a checkered flag at the end of it. You can't write out absolutely any single one of these guys. So Thomas Ogle is, of course, super fast, and he's proven that here in practice thus far. But definitely would not have 26 far. Look at these guys here, bro. Just sliding off.
Flag waving in qualifying, open qualifying here tonight for 5 minutes in the session to be able to set things up for said session. Of note, one driver starting with the NOL tonight, Chris Davis, after picking up second and third warnings at Thompson last week, he gets to start at the tail of this field. This field just about all set to go already. 150 laps your distance tonight. Under the lights, more than 80 miles of racing. Just about all set to go, and getting ready to look at your grid tonight's qualifying, just 3/10 the separation. Thomas Ogle starts the pole, Ryan Pittman alongside. Rex Hoyle and Lloyd Moore start in row 2. Joshua Buckley starts in row 3 tonight, along with Lowell Jewell. Then row number 4, that's Todd Liston and Torrance Childs. Rounding at your top 10, Donnie Moore and Kenneth Allen starts 10th.
And down to 11th and 12th, you got Brian Johnson, the 27, the 93 of Chris Haslip in the 12th position there. Moving on down to the final few starters, Bruce Pearson. To his outside is Thomas Hilbert, the number 1 of Alan Wanamaker, Jeffrey Lyden in the 39. To his outside, Victor Lane in the number 10, looking to go to victory lane, and Gavin Adams in the 30 in 18th position. And here are the rest of your starters: Stephen Hilbert, John Hastings, Rory Collins, Brian Bianchi, Chris Davis, Mark Fish in the 42 car. And as I mentioned moments ago, you can't count out any single one of these guys, including whoever is the unfortunate one to start at the back end tonight. That is John Hain in the 71 car.
Chris Davis will join him. Remember, drop back a row with the EOL penalty here this evening. Once again, talking about tonight's Maconi Setup Shop race analysis. 150 laps your distance here. Lots of laps, lots of time for things to go, lots of time over the course of 84 miles to be able to have things flip around here. What are some of your keys to win here tonight?
Keep the fenders on it, keep that chassis straight. We saw last week how just even a little bit of minor damage was really affecting some of these modifieds. They're pretty sensitive to damage. They're a little more difficult to tear up, but above all, keep the fenders on it. Keep your tires as fresh as possible. That's also a tall task. And like you mentioned, we got 150 laps here tonight, so also probably lastly, closing thoughts on how to win tonight, be patient.
Patience is, I think, the key. We're going to see if that comes into play here tonight. So, who do you think is going to get the job done tonight?
Well, obviously it's hard to rule out Thomas Ogle on the front row. I think, obviously showing impressive speeds there in practice, being as much of a title threat as he is. I think I'm going to have to go with the 13 as probably basic of an answer as that is. But who are you looking at, JP?
I mean, Thomas Ogle is going to be difficult to beat, but I could see someone like a Rex Hoyle be able to keep things tight here. We're about to find out, though, over the course of tonight's racing, if that ends up being the case. In control, Thomas Ogle alongside Ryan Pittman. Happy with this here on Maconi Entertainment for YesterYear. All set to go for the green flag. Green flag is out. We're underway from Myrtle Beach.
Great shot there of old Barney waving the green flag. Everybody's clean and green so far for the first couple corners. Ogle's going to get clear down the back straightaway. Got the 08 out back. Looking tight there. Looking for the lead off turn 4, but it's going to be Ogle leading the first lap around.
He's just trying to wrap the bottom, keep it simple. The bottom, the place to be here at the racetrack tonight. Ryan Pittman bounces off the wall, though. All of some of the others up high side, like Lloyd Moore, try and get clear in 2.
And we got trouble back there in 3 and 4. I believe we have a couple guys around. We're going to go under caution for the first time tonight. Obviously, we'll take a closer look at what happened. But they were definitely getting a little squirrely down the back stretch that lap, and down to 3 and 4. I think everything kind of went awry for some of these drivers.
We've had a multi-car incident to bring us that are yellow for the first time. Involved in this one, Alan Wanamaker, Chris Haslip. You also have Kenneth Allen involved, Thomas Hilbert, Sean Hain, all collected.
Yeah, Hilbert having trouble getting rolling still there in 3 and 4. Here's a closer look at what happened. A little short track-esque bump to the back of the 81, I believe, or is that 01? And then everybody else just slides in. Just kind of victims of circumstance, and look at this mess. Just a domino effect, sort of.
The domino effect puts us at a yellow already for the first time. Stephen Hilbert, the one who lost a lap essentially from that. Looks like he's trying to get his lap back right now. Don't think he will. Yes, he will. In fact, he gets in front of the race leader.
Yeah,
so,
waving around.
As they get sorted out here, what are your thoughts on how the series has gone? I know you've been a part of the series off and on, especially with last week. Your thoughts on what you've seen, especially in the momentum built up in the past couple weeks for the end of season stretch coming in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's go time for these guys, running out of races. I think it is just such an amazing league concept. Love the idea of throwing it back to a set year the way they do, and paying tribute to some legendary drivers in motorsport, especially local track racing. Doesn't get much better than that. I think that these guys definitely have a great system here, and I hope that after this season they'll come up with some other ideas maybe as well. I think that this is something that other leagues could maybe even take example from, and run seasons for any kind of motorsport that they maybe want to pay tribute to a certain year of. But our pace truck is off, JP. We're going to get back to green flag action here at Myrtle Beach.
Coming up to start lap 7, Thomas Ogle in control of the field. Ogle sets things up. Green flag is out. Ogle, and we're back underway. He sets the rhythm up from the second groove to diamond the corner.
Yeah, great corner exit as well. Everybody's single file out most of the field. Nobody really double wide just yet. The 08 is right on the rear bumper at 13, but he will continue to hold strong up front for the moment, just trying to run smooth laps. Like I said, one of the biggest parts, or biggest factors that will go into winning tonight's race is being patient. We got a long way to go.
Be a very lengthy night, to say the very least, for some. We'll see if that ends up being the indicator as the night progresses. But top three already breaking away here to start off this run with everyone single file. Rex Hoyle is the caboose for this lead group.
Yeah, these guys are still not able to make many moves. Just it looks like might be kind of struggling to pass. Like to get a good look at the back of the field out back there. Just nobody really peeking out, making too many moves. Just staying patient, staying single file. A few guys out of line. But they got plenty of time to get this place figured out. Like I said, a lengthy night for some, especially those that maybe don't quite like racing at this place. You better like racing here if you're going to go 150 laps.
Calling on board, this is Ryan Pittman. Good speed over the season so far from Pittman. Last time out, though, didn't have the greatest of runs. In fact, Pittman back in fourth in the championship standings after what happened last time out. Just put him behind Lloyd Moore in the standings, in fact.
All kinds of drama last week out there at Thompson. Points, implications, the war. Saw so many unique situations get presented to even some of the most dominant cars of the day. I believe Thomas Ogle was the race leader. We had one car go around, cause a caution, and then trying to peel back in the line, pulled out right in front of the race leader and got him some damage. Let's take a look at a maybe battle for second brewing here between Pittman and Hoyle.
Starting to get into a full rhythm here. Look to settle on in. Of note, Joshua Buckley, one of the newcomers that recently joined the series. Wants his top five also. Buckley, one of those from the Red Light Racing League. Red Light Bossman, in fact. Ranked 10th out recently in John Hain from Bootleg Racing League as part of some of the recent additions, Shay.
Yeah, definitely think that he's impressing thus far. You know, new addition to the series, having a solid run so far here tonight at Myrtle Beach as well. Got a few cars starting to mix it up a little bit, like you mentioned. They're starting to get into a rhythm now. That early caution definitely kind of threw a wrench in some people's probably focus mentally, but they got it rolling now.
So right now we continue to roll on through here. Rex Hoyle looking for a way to poke, trying to set things up for second.
Yeah, he's been really close to maybe making a move to the inside for the second position. Just hasn't been able to get in good enough position to set it up right. And you even see down there on the apron some of those kind of curbs, rumble strips, whatever you want to refer to those as, in turns 1 and 2. You do not want to hit those. It'll very much upset your car. They're only down here in 1 and 2. You get a good shot of them from the left front tire here. There they are, all in a row like that. You do not want to get up on those.
Right now, just no place for Hoyle to work around quite yet. Staying in a line and working together. So all you can really say is they're about to reach lap traffic. Thomas Hilbert is in range to become the first lap down in this run. He's 4 laps down. Is in the race 11 laps down. Has left out of the race 17 laps down.
Yeah, he's just trying to survive, make it to the end, salvage what he can. Believe he was a part of the early spin there and kind of pile up in turns 3 and 4. Lap traffic definitely about to come into play, though. Be interesting to see how all the leaders choose to maneuver through it.
Right now, how do you set up the pass here in a race like this? I've noticed it's been difficult to pass in the midst of things.
Yeah, Hoyle has been working Pittman over, just trying everything he can. He's gotten close multiple occasions, even as close to just reach out and touch the rear fenders on this '08 car, but he hasn't been able to get a good enough run to peek inside. And even, you know, when he's gotten up close, just like that, maybe a little bit of a bump there, he's backed off even. Like, the '08 has been able to pull back away, but maybe not this time. The '08 slipped up the track a little bit. Maybe that's what the 50 needs. Get a little cleaner air on the front end of that car, and here he goes, finally. The battle for the second position is definitely right now.
Again, just sending a little bit more deeper to the inside. Pittman's leaving that door open. No place to pry the door open yet, though.
Yeah, right now he's basically forcing him to be patient with him. Shows some trust there as well, that you leave it open and trust that the car behind you isn't just going to dive bomb in there and knock you up out of the way. It's only lap 27 of a 150 lap event. A lot of respect has been shown thus far, not just between these two guys, but basically the whole field has been very clean, very respectful, and we're finally hitting that lap traffic, and the 61's going to show plenty of respect here to our leaders, stay up in the high groove, and let them on by. Out to fourth here, or fifth.
Buckley way up the track. Todd Liston putting on the pressure here. Liston wanting to move up into the top 5 does.
And he set that up about as perfect as he could. I honestly think maybe the lap traffic might have bunched this group up a little bit, as second through fifth was a lot closer there for a couple of laps. The 87, noticed how bunched up they were, hopped to the inside of Buckley and made the pass, now running the top 5. We'll see if he maybe set sights on what is honestly close to becoming a 3-car battle for the second spot.
They're starting to queue up here as Pittman's tires go away. 18 3s to Ogle's 18 2s right now. Lloyd Moore, quickest out of these 3 in the battle. Just no place to take the speed in the 18 2s.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations where it's how long can I be patient with you until the guy behind me isn't patient with me, if that makes sense. So right now the 50 is trying his absolute hardest, I promise you, to get by for a second, but there has just been no golden opportunity to make it happen yet. Gotten close, even gotten to the inside the left rear tire of the '08 car, but hasn't been able to sneak around. Here's a big run off the exit of 4. Almost got the wall, and plenty of lap traffic on the way now as well.
That's going to potentially play a bit of a factor here. So already almost a third of the way through the action. Just no place for anyone to poke yet amongst this choo-choo train. The next lap car is Alan Wanamaker. Victor Lane is just up the road. Victor Lane in 20th. Up the road, Wanamaker is going up the track to left by the leaders.
Yeah, they have bunched up quite a bit. Not sure, maybe the dirty air from Wanamaker check up the 13, but it's not even just a battle for second anymore. The 13 has company on the rear bumper of his car with Pittman and the 50 car.
Oh, this has opened up the door for second, though. Pittman lets by Hoyle. Hoyle to second.
Finally got it done. The 08's going to try to cross him over. Can't. And we almost saw it's going to happen. The 20 right up there behind him, fourth, battle for third. The 08 may be losing, not just second. They fall back to third here.
Yeah, just trying to settle back in line. Able to for now, but the outside line, trying to get something done there. Lloyd Moore does not want to wait.
Yeah, definitely not. Think maybe, not sure if it was him, but somebody was definitely brushing that wall down the front straightaway here. And this battle, somebody's got to get it eventually, or they're going to lose time to the leaders. So maybe a little bit more pressure. Still lap traffic on the way. That might help them as well. Got the 50 up ahead here, trying now to set up the pass for the lead on Oval.
Still all lined up the stern for the time being right now. Biggest mover, by the way, in the race is Chris Davis. He's gone 23rd to 11th. Was curious so far. Well, technically from 25th with the EO penalty. So Brian Bianchi's gone 22nd to 12th. He's gone on. So a couple of different drivers getting a move on in the midst of all things considered.
Yeah, and Moore was able to get by Pittman as well, who now has Whiston looking on in his rearview mirror. Just fought so hard to stay in second, probably burned up the rubber on those tires, and now is paying the price for it with still such a long way to go. Might be a very lengthy race indeed for our fourth place run.
We continue to settle on into this race right now. Interesting enough, Donnie Moore was the one projected more than anything else by Hubble this week to be the favorite over Ogle, Bianchi, Isaacs, and whatnot. It's interesting how experience can really change the algorithm, so to speak. So far, he's running top 10.
Yeah, Hubble, of course, being the part of the open AI that the YesterYear Racing League uses to kind of make some predictions for them based on all sorts of statistics, including race incidents, or even factor into that. So it's a pretty neat system that they've got there, and it's definitely shown its accuracy at times. So definitely another cool concept that this league has brought to the table. Can't compliment YesterYear Racing enough on a great deal that they've set up here.
Interesting deal, absolutely, with how things have gone. Right now, the traffic starting to make things a bit tight. We have some people spinning, and that includes second place.
The 50 goes around a foil. We saw him battling so hard for second for so long. Finally hit it on Pittman, and now he's going to be set back quite a bit, maybe even some damage to the front end of this modified.
Over the back end. Here's a look at the replay.
You got the 26 right up on him. It just a light tap, but worn out tires broke it free. The second that contact was made, we'll rewind it here. Take a look at the onboard. Just snaps, and not really much he could do. Does kind of scrape that inside barrier, but I think, all things considered, not too much damage done.
Let's take a commercial break. When we come back, more racing. You're watching Maconi Entertainment.
When you want to be the best,
Racing
you can't settle for the rest.
But experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
Welcome Welcome back, everyone, to Myrtle Beach, where the leaders nearly stacking up on each other as they get all lined up behind the pace car. Some pit strategy. Ryan Pittman elected not to pit, same for Lowell Jewell and a few others. But Thomas Ogle, who did pit, Rex Hoyle and Donnie Moore, all the way back in 11th as they have all come in, as well as Todd Liston and several more. Some interesting strategy in this pit sequence.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how some of these dominant guys of the night handle what has now become quite a bit of traffic, especially the guys that stayed out on older rubber. I mean, quite a bit of laps on their tires, but we're going to be back to it with just under 100 laps left in Myrtle Beach to get the green flag.
Back underway as Ryan Pittman tries to hold on at the very front of the field. This could get where it can get shuffly yet again with some of this different strategy. Your first to pit is Liston. He's right now in the 4th position on the racetrack. Yeah,
and so far not a super clear advantage. You know, in some cases, scenarios, you think that maybe he'd go flying to the field, but actually he's getting thrown around back there. All kinds of stack up behind these leaders, double wide. Meanwhile, it's still Pittman up at the front, and the top 3 have kind of gapped themselves from this mess right here.
After the Hornets
contact
nest
there.
That was 3 wide up the middle for a moment. Hold on to it. That's amongst those. Thomas Hilbert getting shuffled.
That was near disaster. I'm not sure who that was that got kind of put in the middle of that situation. Nearly was just about an overcorrection away from right hooking somebody and maybe causing another stacker. We already saw one big one tonight in the opening laps of this race. And with all these mixed strategies, these various aggressive drivers on the 26 really throw it into turn 1 and will help them complete the pass. But it's definitely going to get crazy for the time being. Things will settle down eventually, but now is not that time.
A lot of people not remaining patient. They need spots in some cases. Rex Hoyle has passed by Thomas Ogle in the midst of this Hornets nest. That's going to be important for later on, likely, to say the least. If things go the way, expect things to play. Jeffrey Leiden up the track. Kenneth Allen holds on to the bottom.
You see Thomas Ogle right there, the black 13 car that we saw dominating this race so much tonight. He led so many laps until this last caution, and now he's struggling to break back into the top 10. The 50 car right there ahead of him was the reason the last caution came out. Went for a spin, got a little tap from behind. Rebounding pretty nicely so far.
Good job so far indeed. How difficult is it to maintain that rhythm in a track situation like this? We've seen how tricky it can be tonight.
I think it depends a lot on where you're running on the track. Like, you know, example being Thomas Ogle, you just went from leading the race, clean air, you know, just having to deal with some lap traffic on occasion. This is a total different ballgame now. This car is going to drive nothing like it did up at the front with all the dirty air. So you really just have to adjust to your environment the best that you can. And it's not an easy feat. But so far, Ogle seems to be keeping his composure, just struggling to make any passes, but we've seen how hard passing is tonight as well. Maybe that factored into some of these guys staying out. Pittman is still our race leader.
We've seen this happen a lot throughout the season, but others like Hoyle are opening up the door to move through this field. It's going to take a bit of time, though. Get up the way to the front. It might take the full run to get up to the very front of the tires.
Yeah, you saw Ogle and Pearson there nearly making contact. They were able to keep it clean. Ogle definitely maybe losing a little bit more of a little bit of patience now, trying to work his way back through the field, including this battle right up ahead of here. Guys going wide, nearly pushing the wall in corner exit. I don't think it matters where you're running right now. In my opinion, this looks like it's a ton of fun no matter what.
trying to dive to the inside still. That goes Bruce Pearson trying to make some inroads on Stephen Hilbert. Hilbert nearly knocking the wall down the backdrop, but so far we're just about halfway to the race. Just wondering how things are going so far. It's been just the one caution in this race. Two cautions, I should say, as we continue to see things outside of that remain clean. Just so far, everyone giving each other respectful space. If someone gets to the inside, they've allowed them on by.
Yeah, especially by short track stands for the 52, get a little squirrely there, going to go up the track, maybe brush the wall ever so slightly, but back to what you were saying, a lot of respect has definitely been shown here tonight, and by short track standards, of course, it's been very clean. Only the two cautions. We had the early incident, which both accidents were pretty much freak incidents, just nothing intentional, just some bumps gone wrong, unintentional bumps at that. So we have a battle right here for which spot?
Third position's continuing to get a little bit busy right now. Fourth, I should say. You have Todd Liston, Chris Davis amongst those there. Joshua Buckley doing very well. He's been riding fifth basically this entire race.
Yeah, just can't seem to get away from the right people. It would seem, he's finally away from the people the four that were in front of him earlier on. Now he's got a new setup for it. These guys all driving very different. Pittman had set a pretty respectable lead, but now the 87 has closed that gap, and we may see a battle for the lead here soon. We haven't really seen much of a battle for the lead at any point tonight, no matter who was leading. When Ogle was up front, seemed to be able to kind of control the race, control whoever was behind him. That wasn't really letting anybody get to his inside.
Pressure is on up front meanwhile. Ryan Pittman being hounded by Todd Liston. Liston, he showed a lot of improvement this year. He is all over the back end of that 08.
Just trying to find a way to set up that pass, and that's been the topic of the night. Just how do you set up the pass? And it seems almost impossible. The 87's definitely taking a diamond approach to the corners, obviously entering higher than our race leader, and then diving down lower for corner exit. But it seems like no matter what he does, the 08 is just able to defend that just as well. Ooh, a little sideways there as well. Maybe caught that apron there a little bit. The painted white line is a little slicker than the asphalt surface, of course.
Right now, Liston just trying to find different lines, try and see what works, doesn't work here. Else on their strategy, still yet to find a way up there to the pack. They're still back around 10th or so. Liston seems really good corner exit. He's trying to send a corner entry.
That was set up wonderfully. We'll see how it works out. The 08 goes way wide because of it. We have a new race leader at the front of our field, and Joel is coming with this battle as well, maybe for second.
Poke as well. Pittman losing ground as Chris Davis trying to go from the back to front. Chance to go up to P2 after having to serve an EOL penalty tonight. He gets to second.
Yeah, from worst to first, if he can pull it off. Had the EOL that you mentioned due to some warnings from the league. Definitely has recovered quite well from that. Even if just a top 10 would have been an impressive bounce back, but has gone way above those expectations as we take a look at the 013 here. Big battle between these guys.
Buckley now providing a lot of pressure to Lowell Jewell. Boss man for the BRL still holding firm in his positioning, but now he's under attack. Buckley getting a lot more rotation corner exit.
Definitely got in there and kind of similar to the battle that we saw for the lead with Liston and Davis, or excuse me, Pittman. Just was able to get to their inside at the right time, and the top lane does not seem to have any drive off to fight off anybody on the inside.
Right now, a lot of squabbling going on as a result of some of the shuffling mid-pack. Brian Johnson is right now battling with Kenneth Allen wants those on some of the fresher rubber. Going to make a move high side.
Take a look here at that battle. Oh, into the wall there. The 26 got the fence on corner exit, and doesn't seem like seems like no harm, no foul. Definitely seen plenty of guys overdrive these corner exits and bounce up into the fence, but most of them have just been minor scrapes.
It's little things here or there, right? So, but we're running to the inside. This is Brian Bianchi trying to join the top 5 for the first time, does.
Did that with ease as well. We'll see how Bianchi attacks from here forth. It seems like some of these guys, they'll be able to make the pass that they worked so hard for, and then there's a massive gap to the next car, making it pretty difficult to run down that next position. As even Liston, who got by Pittman for the lead, Davis took over second, and that's now about 0.4 of a second gap between those two alone. So lap traffic will come into play here momentarily. We got a couple of them running fairly close together as well, which is never convenient for the race leaders.
Looking back to Davis. He's providing pressure. Knock, knock. He wants the race lead. Coming around 60 to go.
And we got that dirty air from the lappers ahead, and they're battling. They're having their own battle, so maybe you won't see quite the respect that we have from earlier tonight, where most of them just pull up high, let them have it. Well, here we go. Now they'll have one pull aside. But regardless, the time spent ahead of the 87 has very much put a damper on Liston's lead. Wanamaker will also give them the inside and seemingly let them by harmless. Yep, all good now. And now it's down to just first versus second.
Right now, Davis seems a little bit quicker corner exit. A little bit too quick. He nearly took it to the wall that time.
Definitely had a rocket ship of an exit off turn 4. That time got right up to the rear bumper of the 87, like you mentioned, nearly drove it up into the wall. See how hard that he drives it off this time. He's going to have the run. He's going to look to the inside, battle for the lead in a turn 1 on lap 93.
Davis slides on by. Chris Davis has completed the back-to-front challenge. He's gone to the point after starting dead last with an EOL penalty. Now looks to set sail as Todd Liston all over the racetrack.
Now Liston just trying to kind of regain control now, refocus, and take his own crack at the 7 car for the race lead. Easier said than done, especially with how fast the 7 closed that gap and just flew on by. It was really no contest once the 7 got to the inside.
Caution.
And we have our 3rd caution of the night now, and that's going to kind of really change things up here.
Now a parking lot on the front straightaway. Lowell, Jewell, and more stacked up in this one. And they are still wrecking under caution right now.
Yeah, definitely about time for the chaos to get unleashed. We'll take a look at what set this one off. But the 26 of Moore and Jewell just get hooked together. And oh, Ogle is collected in this as well. Lost so much track position due to the burying pit strategy. Led all those laps early. And definitely some pretty significant damage done to the 13th modified. Take a look at that right front tire, like it was bent as well.
So Ogle amongst those with mandatory repairs. Brian Johnson, Kenneth Allen in the same boats right now. This is going to shuffle the points likely tonight as a result with some of your main front runners for this season in the crash. Now, as we continue on, why don't we take the chance to take the Culpeper's Bakery and Colony Tire check-in. That's where we check in the status of the two Culpeper and Colony Tire drivers, Rex Hoyle and Brian Bianchi. Just past the halfway point here in this one. Let's see where they're running. Well, Rex Hoyle, he's in the pit lane. He was amongst those involved in the caution flag. Brian Bianchi, he's at the tail end of the lead lap. Last time by scored in 10th position. He's amongst those who just had to come out of the pit lane from being in the vicinity of the caution flag. Let's look where, once again, the Culpeper's machines are. Brought to you by the Colony Tire as part of their check-in here.
Yeah, and this incident as well, wanted to mention all three of our cautions tonight, all three of the incidents, very similar, just a bad bump at a bad place, and they've all kind of taken place around 3 and 4 as well, so that's kind of been the chaos corner of the night. Lights will remain on our pace truck here, so we'll restart with probably just under 50 laps remaining. Of course, another caution means more varying pit strategy. Pittman, the one that we saw stay out the last time on the old tires and held up strong for a decent bit, I do believe was one that hit pit road under this caution.
So, as the result here of all this, by the way, we have just an estimated 8 drivers on the lead lap. That's not a lot to close things out with less than 50 to go.
No, not at all. I mean, this is, and it's definitely gonna, be interesting as well because, you got so many guys, maybe even just one lap down, that are fighting to maybe get their lap back if they're able. Obviously, older league, no lucky dog back in the day, but maybe fight up to the leader if they're able. And we're going to go green here, exactly like I said, just under 50 laps to go. Think we have more chaos on our way, JP.
Chris Davis looking to control things up front. Off and away for the green flag. Back underway. Todd Liston nearly plows towards the back end, trying to get things pressurized.
Yeah, lost the lead just before that caution came out, and now the aggressive switch has been flipped. Looking to the inside, all over the place, snaking down the front stretch, now takes to the top in 1 and 2. Maybe try to do a little diamond there, try to get a run on corner exit. Battle for 5th here.
Bianchi trying to hold on, but Donnie Moore zips on by the group to be able to zip by the lap traffic. Still though, the pressurized up front. Todd Liston trying to see if he can force a mistake from Davis.
And so far, that mistake has not come. With plenty of time left, just got to stay on the rear bumper, stay in range. The 08 thought that they were hitting pit road there. Pittman, that last caution. Here they come into turn 3 with a full head of steam. Maybe nearly a little bit of contact there for the 3rd spot. Looks like they're able to keep it together.
Hold on to it. Pittman came in for pit stop during that last caution sequence. As lap cars still are up front here, like John Hayne. He has to figure out a way to let by Brian Bianchi, who is coming in fast from 22nd starting spot.
Yeah, these guys on the fresh tires think they might have the winning strategy. As Pittman looks to the inside there for second. Had the door closed on him. I don't know how much longer that door will be able to be forced closed. It'll probably be slammed down here pretty shortly, if not now, by Pittman. Can't waste too much time. These laps will go by in a hurry. It's a short racetrack.
Pushing up the racetrack is Pittman. Able to stay on the circuit as he gets back into the line. Coming around once again towards the final 40 laps or so of this one. Pittman has the door slammed shut yet again by Liston. Liston to the wall.
And a little bit of contact there.
A lot of corking and accordion affecting right there. That's opened the door for Pittman.
Davis loves to see this out the rear view mirror, just try and get on the loud pedal now. Bianchi was working on Pittman for the third spot to maybe be a part of that battle for second with the 87 car. And now that check up into the fence is kind of throwing a bit of a wrench in things here, as Bianchi right there with the 08, maybe trying to give him a little bit of momentum to get clear to the second spot.
Starting to become a little bit of a fierce battle here. Liston not wanting to give up, sending it very deep. He's going to maintain his tires well this race, but Pittman has the speed, has the tire differential in his back pocket. He's clear for second. Here comes Bianchi.
Bianchi's going to get right up to the door for third position now. These guys are on the move. Talk about how Davis, our race leader, liked to see that battle for second going on because it was keeping Pittman at bay. Pittman has been unleashed. Here he comes with plenty of time still to get there. One car slow on the backstretch on the inside. Not sure who that was. Think they'll be going okay here. Ooh, that might have been Buckley.
A lot of drivers sliding around right now. Pressure is on for the lead. Davis getting bumped and ran.
Contact, yeah, with the lap traffic there as well. Really going to heat this battle up.
A lot of it right now with Brian Johnson up the track. Donnie Moore nearly runs into him as he zips on by. Your front runners now all grouped together.
No time for give and take. It's game on now. I think these guys know that they are probably, or there's the potential to maybe not see another yellow flag tonight. Pittman doing all he can to map out how he'll make the move for the lead, but he's doing that while trying to fend off Bianchi in the third position. And you mentioned Moore, he's entered this battle as well. You could throw a blanket over the top five.
For the lead, Pittman nearly pushed Davis off the bottom of the racetrack. He resets, going to take a couple more laps to try it again as Davis slams the door.
Got to build that momentum back up to take another crack at it. We talked about how 3 and 4 has kind of been the action spot of the racetrack tonight. This is where all the bumping and banging and crashing is pinned. And definitely couldn't rule out maybe some bumping for some of these higher running positions, especially the race lead. Pittman's to the inside of Davis. They'll be door to door down the back straightaway. Pittman takes it no contest, and the 3 to 7 slams the door shut, and he gets tagged from behind by Bianchi, and they all collect it.
Davis tried.
Oh, Moore nicked one of those curbs that I was talking about earlier on the bottom, really upset his car. Maybe some damage. I think he's got a problem. He's pulling it down to pit road.
Black flag for Bianchi. He picked up a black flag in that situation. Remember, 13 incident points the limit. He's been in the midst of a hornet's nest, and that's going to see the 41 have to tuck into the pit road. Pittman is your leader.
Wow, that is just devastating for Bianchi. He had clawed his way up here into the mix, thought maybe even a potential shot at the win. And you mentioned those incident points. Has been in where all the action has been. Unfortunately collected enough to have to serve a penalty.
Right now, we'll see if Pittman now has the speed to be able to hold on. He's got the freshest tires up front. Donnie Moore is the next closest driver in that grouping, by the way. He's able to do things here. Coming up to 25 to go next time by.
Yeah, Bianchi, I believe, was Pittman's best competition for this race win. Davis just does not have the rubber on his tires left that our race leader Pittman does. To see Bianchi still maneuvering down pit road there, I believe was probably held due to the incident points for a set amount of time. Obviously, it takes quite a hit where there's Bianchi pulling off pit road finally. Obviously, took quite the blow with that penalty, but I must say, Davis is kind of reeling in our race leader even on those worn out tires.
He's not giving up, it looks like. He's going to have a lot of motivation. Originally let Pittman go. Now seems to be back into a groove of his own to be able to close up by a car length a quarter.
Yeah, and I think Pittman is probably safe for the most part, but with still a decent handful of laps remaining, there's the potential for a late race caution where we could get, it could be a very chaotic restart. You see it, I saw that angle there in the turns 1 and 2, where Pittman's taking a higher lane into the corner than the 7 of Davis, he's just trying to get between R and his nose. Well, now this is a great angle from the nose of Davis.
Around 20 laps to go in this race. Right now, it's down to these two. Davis hit the marbles. Got a little bit too low towards the apron, got loose.
And he's still driving it in very deep in the corner. He saw just how much further in he drove than our race leader, Pittman. Lap traffic, of course, coming into play here as well. It's kind of seemed like tonight when these guys hit that lap traffic that when they get stuck behind somebody, it just kills their momentum, especially for the race leader, who has often seen their lead totally deplete when catching lap traffic. The lap traffic has been respectful, gotten out of the way tonight, but until they catch them, for them to get out of the way, they kind of take some damage to their gap from that.
Nevin's still in the lead lap, by the way, in this one. Separated by 4 seconds. Buckley's the tail of the lead lap. This race originally seemed to be Ogle's race, but he is a lap down in 12. That's going to be a massive swing in the point standings, potentially by the end of this one.
And take a look at him here. He was involved in our most recent accident. Got sent kind of mid-pack, just about, due to some pit strategy after, I believe it was our second caution of the night. And unfortunately, due to the track position given from that, got collected in an accident. And I mentioned it at the start of the show. We were talking about what we could expect to see tonight. Talk about how it's an any given Sunday type of situation where anybody can win. You thought Ogle was dominant, leading early laps. You'd probably say, oh, well, he's just going to run away with it. He's going to lead every lap. Well, completely opposite situation now with only 15 laps remaining.
Coming around quickly to 13 laps to go. Lap traffic has played a bit of a factor tonight, especially when it comes to the front runners. And there's 2 more lap cars in front right now, including Dennis Allen and Thomas Ogle himself. Looks like Ryan Pittman forced to lift a little bit this time, forces Davis more out of the gas, if anything.
Yeah, I think Davis took more of a hit from the lapper there than our race leader Pittman, but got another one right ahead of Ogle, being the next one in line to get passed by Pittman. But Davis is trying so hard. He's just driving it in so deep, hoping for a chance at this. Maybe just trying to stay in range for, how some of these short track races end. Maybe a bit of a bump and run situation. You just never know. We're down to the final 11 laps and they're going to go by in a hurry.
Davis needs a lot more speed than this if he wants a shot. 3/10 back's not going to win the race. He's only been able to close up in the corners, losing ground on the corner exits as per expected. We're 18-2s. Both the runners up front running that pace. 10 laps to go.
I'll say if Davis can stay closer to Pittman on the corner exit and the straightaway speed that he's clearly lacking to the 08, he might have a shot at getting where he's driving it in so hard on corner entry, but he closes up so much. I mean, you see right there, just how close he gets to our race leader, Pittman. And this is the battle right here. Liston in third is nowhere near these two guys. Lap traffic going to play a factor. He's going to get into the fence. That's going to set up the seventh opportunity.
Opens the door, but Davis not able to jump through it. Pittman able to dodge. Now Pittman pressurized from behind, coming down to 7 laps to go. Davis trying to find a way around.
And there's another lapper up ahead that will play a factor in this as well. So the chaos of the lap traffic is by no means done. I'm not sure that this will be the last lapper they catch, but it may just be. So for Davis, he's got to set him up, and he's got to set him up quick. And not just because the lapper, this might be the last lap traffic. There's only 7 laps left, not 6.
Coming up to 5 laps to go now. Davis is starting to lose ground. He's going.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest.
Traffic going to cost him more time. Victor Lane that time, following a 5th lap down. 5 laps to go in this race. Pittman, 56 laps led so far tonight. Looking to lead another few more as a huge dive by Davis.
Yeah, definitely. It's time to start throwing the Hail Marys in there if you're Davis. Pittman, of course, we talked about how he had the fresher tires. I think that's equalized, if anything, at this point. Very impressive drive by Davis, nonetheless, to even get this close and stay this close. Oh, nearly got in the wall there. Has definitely been overdriving in the corner exit now, and has had to lift on a couple of occasions. It's going to take quite the move to pull this off. Only 2 laps left at the stripe here.
2 laps to go from Myrtle Beach. Pittman looking to close out the race after starting at the front, outside front row. Has been in the conversation since the onset of this race. Now he'll see the white flag this time by. He leads by 2 car lengths out of 4, coming to the white.
And no go here, Davis. I just don't think, unless he absolutely just sends it wide open in the 3 and 4, he's going to have a chance. I think it's all she wrote now.
Davis backing off all as well for Ryan Pittman. Pittman will take the checker flag and win the race. Side by side building up behind them though. Donnie Moore, Bruce Pearson. Pearson takes away 4th at the stripe.
Right race there for 4th. And I believe Davis just kind of accepted 2nd place there at the end, took it easy, and Pittman comes back from after losing the lead, after having what seemed like the perfect strategy early on, pits for fresh rudder and ends up coming right back up to the top. Gonna burn it down to these virtual fans here in Myrtle Beach.
Ryan Pittman takes the checker flag. We'll take a step aside when we come back. Post-race coverage. You're watching Maconi Entertainment for coverage of yesteryear from Myrtle Beach.
When you want to be the best, you can't.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing
When you want to be the best, you
the
can't
world.
settle for the rest. For
Go
anything on
head-to-head
iRacing.
against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi's Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to tonight's coverage of yesteryear here on Maconi Entertainment. As we get ready to look at your post-race results, Justin Brent, Shane Mundy with you. Rory Canales, your producer for this evening's coverage. Let's see how they finished off, why don't we, after some exciting racing here at Myrtle Beach. As in the end, you see Ryan Pittman be able to do some wild things and be able to take the race win tonight. He takes the W this evening. We're going to get the graphics to you as Chris Davis again finished off second spot tonight. Todd List and Bruce Pearson, Donnie Moore were also amongst those in the top five. Rex Hoyle and Joshua Buckley in seventh. Lap down for Lloyd Moore, Lowell Jewell, and Jeffrey Leiden in this one, Shane.
Yeah, we saw a great race here. Unfortunately, for a lot of these guys, falling a lap down. Chris Davis there in the second spot gave it all he had. Came up short as we work on getting the rest of the lineup on your screen here. But here we go. Stephen Hilbert comes home in the 11th position with Thomas Ogle. Unfortunately, looked like the dominant car ended up getting caught up in an accident. Ends up 2 laps down in 12th. Gavin Adams 13th. And we got Kenneth Allen, Brian Bianchi 14th, 15th. Bianchi had the incident point penalty when it looked like maybe had a potential top 5 finish at the very least, if not more. Torrance Childs, Alan Wanamaker, Brian Johnson, Victor Lane, and Thomas Hilbert. Those guys round out your top 20 with John Hain 21st, Mark Fish 22nd, Rory Collins 23rd, John Hastings 24th, and Chris Haslip involved in that early accident. Unfortunately, was immediately wiped out. Comes home in the last position in 25th.
That's a look top to bottom at tonight's running order in this one from Myrtle Beach. As why don't we take the opportunity now next to speak with your drivers. Start things off with the race winner tonight here, Ryan Pittman, now joining us. If we can, here we go. He joins now the broadcast booth. Ryan, congratulations on the victory tonight. How are you feeling after this run here at Myrtle Beach?
Feeling pretty good, man. Ran 125 laps in a late model here yesterday, so had a little bit of rhythm. I was trying to figure out who I was competing with there at the end that had old tires, and I definitely pissed off the right front there. But doing that, but yeah, that was a fun race, man. Appreciate it.
How difficult was this race tonight?
Uh, I was trying to figure out early on if it was going to be like a right front race or if it was going to be a right rear race. It really felt like the right front was taking the damage. I was getting way tight trying to get in the corner, but the right rear is what was wearing. So, but I mean, it's Myrtle Beach. You know, you're strung out, running different lines. Everybody's kind of getting into one a little bit differently. So, it's certainly a tough racetrack, one of the most fun on the sim. But yeah, that was good.
With that being said, should put you in good points position now heading into the next one. New Hampshire is next. Your thoughts on New Hampshire, the Magic Mile?
It's a big track. Hadn't ran it in a while, so we'll just have to see. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of throttle, and I'm sure it may be a little bit loose, especially if you touch the apron. So we're just going to have to give it a shot and see where we wind up. I know Brian Johnson was really looking forward to that race, so I'll be looking to see him up there towards the front.
Any shows you'd like to give here tonight?
Oh, just my buddy Brian with tattoo in his YouTube and whatever. He's a good buddy of mine, and of course Alan Wanamaker does a fantastic job running this league and keeping everybody happy. It's a good vibe in this league, and of course everybody else who races. Chris Davis, I believe who it was, who I was racing with. I know he really cut me a break there at the end, so I knew he was quicker, and I tried to just keep it as close to the bottom as I could, and you know, but yeah, just everybody that runs in the league, and of course y'all for broadcasting. We always appreciate you.
Congratulations once again on the run here tonight.
Can I say one more thing really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just want to say, everybody, please support your local short tracks. That's one of my biggest thing. And of course, racing here at Myrtle Beach, we lost it a couple years ago. So just everybody, please go take your time and your money and go spend some time at some short tracks, man. I've volunteered and I've started doing a PA announcing at my local short track here in Raleigh at Wake County Speedway. So just do what you can.
Well, once again, congratulations on the victory tonight.
Thank you, buddy.
Ryan Pittman coming away with the win. Chris Davis went from the back to the front and still finished in second. He's with Shane.
Chris, you got me.
Yeah, how you doing, Shane?
I'm all right. Well, I think you gave it just about everything you had there at the end. Obviously, we're dealing with probably some worse tires than our race winner, Pittman. What more did you need there at the end?
I needed to pit on that last caution. I sort of got stuck out there. I felt like with lap cars trying to get in the right position, and when my spotter said pit lane was open, I had just passed.
Well, it almost worked out anyway. You were closing in at the end. Definitely saw you driving it in super, super deep, trying to get to the rear bumper. And at the very end, looked like you kind of waved the white flag finally. Uh, how fun was this race tonight?
Well, it was a lot of fun. I've raced this track a bunch. I feel like I have a slightly different line than most people. So I may not be fastest early on a fresh set. But the line that I drive and the way that I use the brakes seems to save the tires better, up to a point, obviously. Yeah, I did wave the white flag when I felt that the right front was gone, and I at least wanted to finish on the podium and not in the fence.
Well, you did just that. You're able to come home with the silver medal in this one tonight. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, absolutely. My teammates who helped me out in some other racing, that would be Matt Hoos and John Wilson. They both race in the BRL league. That's one of the leagues that kind of feeds into this one here. I want to thank Razor. They've come on board. I'll have some new paint schemes. Razor's providing me with a lot of the hardware. I'm using a new Hyperspeed 2 version 2 wireless headset. First time using it tonight. I think that brought me some of the good luck. So if you're in the need for some new gaming paraphernalia and hardware, check out Razor.
All right, Chris. Well, congrats on the great run. Just came up just a little short. We'll get them next week in New Hampshire. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, guys. I look forward to New Hampshire.
Again, that's Chris Davis coming away second tonight. Third spot went the way of Todd Liston. He fought hard up at the front. Joins us now up in the broadcast booth. Todd, you look to be in the conversation for much of the way. How would you describe that battle for the race win for you?
I'd describe it with a late mistake choice. I'm not taking tires.
How difficult was it to be able to manage the tires tonight?
Well, I'm kind of used to running SK modifieds, and with those, it's typically more based on tire temps than it is tire wear. And I'll definitely say it doesn't wear as much as like a late model or something, but I definitely, when I got off on that last green flag, I was thinking, man, this is still pretty slick. I got lucky. I was able to hold off, at least a few cars and keep my position and third and get a podium for the season.
Your thoughts on New Hampshire next week?
Not one of my favorites, but I'm going to give it a go, and it's always a learning experience, and hopefully we'll do good.
Any shows you'd like to give here tonight, Todd?
Yep, I'd like to give a shout out to my wife, Caitlin. She always supports all my racing endeavors, my son, James, my team, Indy Auto Sport, and our sponsor, Martin Sports over there, and Alan, for putting this whole setup on. It's fun every race we come to, and I'd like to thank you guys up there in the booth. It's always fun to come back and watch.
Once again, congratulations on the run here today.
Thank you, Jesse.
Todd Liston coming away with a solid run. Like, thank you and the rest of the top three for speaking with us during post-race coverage here on Maconi Entertainment. Your thoughts on this one tonight here, Shane, as in the end, Pittman comes away with the dub.
Definitely was surprised to see just how close Davis almost got to stealing that win from Pittman, but Pittman played the cards right, ended up in victory lane, cautions, timing, all that fell right into their hands. Congrats again to them on the win. Definitely some heartbreak there for Ogle, who was such a title contender. Still has some time to maybe bounce back. New Hampshire's going to be big for that 13 team, but overall, just a great show. Always love the modifieds. Always love a short track, so it's a great combination.
Well, on that note, it's time to say goodbye for tonight's action. The next time you'll see racing will be September the 3rd at New Hampshire. Once again, 8:30 p.m. is the start time. Thank you to the YesterYear Racing administration team led by Alan Wanamaker for the work in bringing this league to life. Calling the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince, alongside Shane Mundy, with Jorge Canales producing. Thanks to our viewers watching tonight's action. We hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Thanks to the entire staff for bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi's Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.